Hare Krishna.
जी दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु।
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Dandavat pranam. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
कृष्ण कृष्ण
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavad.
Hare Krishna. Right? Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stabitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapnantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanshan Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Shahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakamitam Shan Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Harite Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangulam Payate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Sri Gurun Ninatanam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Kadanchana Smrite Asmin Duskaram Skaram Bhavet Vismrite Viparitam Sat Sri Chaitanya Namamitam Hare Krishna. Give me 1 second. Okay, so today we will start chapter 18 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Just to refresh what we have discussed previously, in chapter 17, we're discussing about the division of faith. Yeah. Krishna explains the in which mode a person is situated, according to his own method of worship, yes, and what food he eats, yes, that's very important also, and the charity, austerities in the mode, yes. So not all kind of charity are same, yeah. So depending on to whom you are giving the charity, in which place, yeah, it should be given in the holy place, especially, and then to the worthy person, yes, and austerity also. And then at the end, Krishna explained by connecting everything to Krishna. Yeah. So the word Om Tat Sat we have discussed is the word Om Tat Sat. That indicate actually Lord Krishna himself. Yeah. The Om is actually the impersonal aspect of the Lord. Yes. Om Tat means that person. Yeah, that supreme person. Sat means the one who is eternal. Yes. So when we connect everything to the Om Tat Sat, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they all get purified. Yeah. The austerities, the charity, yeah, everything. So now we will move to the 18th chapter. Yes, Ramesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranam. Prabhu, Om Tat Sat versus Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So which one we have to give preference, Prabhu, then?
For us, of course, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Yes.
Yes, because Krishna here talking to the people in general. Yeah. But for those who are more advanced, so of course, there are three aspects of the absolute truth. Yes, the Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Yeah, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaneti, Sabdheti. All these three are absolute truth. So impersonal realization, also realization of the absolute truth. But that is not perfected. Yes. But for a devotee, it's like this, when you see sunlight, you could immediately think about the sun, right? For example, you probably, I don't know, I remember when I was a kid, So when I wake up in the morning, so my mom would open the window and then the sunlight would come inside the room. And then she's yelling at me, you should wake up. The sun is already entering the room. So the sun is remain in the sky, right? Only the sun sign is entering the room. But we understand that the sunlight is not different from the sun because the sunlight coming from the sun. So similarly, Brahman is coming from Bhagavan. Yes. But Brahman realization, of course, it is not the highest realization, but still it is absolute truth. Yeah. The absolute truth. So similarly, the Om Tat Sat, also like that, It is representing Krishna. But for those who are more advanced, then we prefer to chant Hare Krishna, right?
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes. All right. Very nice. So chapter 18. Conclusion. Yes, the perfection of renunciation. Okay, because in the chapter 17, we talk also about renunciation. So here is the perfection of renunciation. Of course, we have concluded that when that renunciation is connected to Krishna, that is perfected. Yeah. Krishna explains the meaning of renunciation and the effect of the modes of nature on human consciousness and activity. He explains Brahman realization, the glories of the Bhagavad Gita, and the ultimate conclusion of the Gita. The highest path of religion is absolute, unconditional loving surrender unto Lord Krishna, which frees one from all sins, brings one to complete enlightenment, and enables one to return to Krishna's eternal spiritual abode. Okay. So what is here Brahman realization that Krishna will explain? So this Brahman realization is the realization of the absolute truth. Yes. Because we are all Brahman actually. Aham Brahmasmi. Yes. The Jiva also Brahman. But there is Para Brahman also. Yeah. And understanding one Sambandha with the Para Brahman, that's actually the ultimate realization of Brahman. Yeah. The entire Bhagavad Gita is concluded in 17 chapters. And to emphasize the goal of surrender to Krishna, the essence of the previous chapters is taught in this, the final chapter. Here Krishna concludes, as he has done throughout the Bhagavad Gita, that one should practice devotional service. So here are some topics that we will discuss in chapter 17. So we will again touching the point of karma yoga, superiority of work in devotion over renunciation of work. All this topic actually we have discussed, jnana yoga, the three guna, worshipping Krishna through one's work, niskama karma, from jnana to pure devotional service, surrender to Krishna. Arjuna agrees to fight, and victory is assured by Sanjaya. Okay. So therefore, actually, the Bhagavad Gita is supposed to end at 17th chapter. Yes. But the last chapter, just to emphasize, it's like when we are having some discussion, so we always make a roundup on what we have discussed. So Krishna will simply repeat what he has taught to Arjuna in this chapter, yes, such as Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, the three gunas, yes, surrender to Krishna. Almost in every chapter, we see that we must surrender to Krishna, we must surrender to Krishna. Yes, and at the end we will see finally Arjuna will be agreed to fight on the command of Krishna. Okay, so text 1 to 12. Krishna began his summary of all he has previously spoken by reciting his prescription that Arjuna renounce the fruit of work, not work itself. Yeah. Verses 1 to 12 are summary of the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, which describe Karma Yoga. Yes. What verse that we can recollect from chapter 2 regarding this point that one should give up the fruit of one's work, but not the work itself? Because the very nature of the jiva is always active. One cannot renounce work, but one must renounce the fruits of work. Anybody remember any sloka from? Yes.
Karmanyevadhikaraste phaleshu bhajanam. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, that's the one. Thank you so much. Yes, karmanevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Yeah, ma phaleshu kadachana. Don't think, Krishna said, don't think that the result is depend on you. Yeah. Ma karma phala hetu burmate samgosto karmane. And never get used to give up the work. Yeah. So what does it mean when we giving up the fruits of work? What that's mean? Depending on Krishna. Yes. We are not entitled for the fruit. The fruit of work is depend on Krishna. Yes. So we'll see this more details. Okay. Text number 1. Arjuna said, O my Tian one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, Tyaga, and of the renouncer of life, sannyas, O killer of Kesi demon, master of the senses. As in the second chapter, a synopsis of the whole subject matter was described, in the 18th chapter, also the summary of all instruction is given. The purpose of life is indicated to be renunciation and attainment of the transcendental position above the 3 material modes of nature. Arjuna wants to clarify the 2 distinct subject matters of Bhagavad Gita, namely renunciation, Tyaga, and the renouncer of life, sannyas. Thus, he is asking the meaning of these 2 words. Okay. 2 words used in this verse to address the Supreme Lord, Rishikesha and Kesinisuddhana, are significant. Rishikesha is Krishna, the master of all senses, who can always help us attain mental serenity. Arjuna requests him to summarize everything in such a way that he can remain equipoised. Yet he has some doubts, and doubts are always compared to demons. He therefore addressed Krishna as Kesinisuddhana. Kesi was the most formidable demon who was killed by the Lord. Now Arjuna is expecting Krishna to kill the demon of doubt. Okay. 2 points. 2 points from this verse. Yes. First, Arjuna is asking, what is sannyas, what is tyaga? Okay. So sannyas basically means the renouncer of life. Yeah, the practice of renunciation. Sannyas means a person, sannyasi, yeah, a person who is in the renouncer of life. And then tyaga means to give up, to give up. But in our understanding, tyaga means to give up the fruit of work. So is there any difference between sannyas and tyaga? We will see. Yes. And second point, Arjuna is addressing Krishna here, yeah, with the name Rishikesha and Kesava. Yeah. So basically, come back to the first chapter again. In many occasions, Krishna was addressed by Arjuna by different names related to his qualities, related to his pastime of killing different demons. Because Arjuna is expecting when he said that Madhusudana, oh Kesava, yeah, Kesinisudana, yeah. So Arjuna is expecting that Krishna can kill the doubts in his mind, because as Srila Prabhupada nicely explained here, that this doubt compared to the demon. Yeah. So Arjuna is expecting that Krishna can help him to be free from this doubt within his mind, within his heart. And Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Rishikesha. Sometimes in the first chapter we see as Govinda. Yeah. So Arjuna is expecting that Krishna can help him to control his senses. Yeah. Like this. Okay. Text number 2, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what great learned men call renouncer of life, sannyas, and giving up the result of all activities in what the wise call renunciation or tyaga. Okay, the performance of activities for result to be given up. This is the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. Such activities leading to advanced spiritual knowledge are not to be given up. This will be made clear in the next verses. Okay. So, sannyas means giving up the activities, basically giving up the material desire. That is sannyas. Yeah. Therefore, those who are taking the sannyas order of life, they're supposed to have no material desire. And tyaga is giving up the fruits of one's work, one's activities. Yes. So are sannyas and tyaga the same or different? Any thought here? Upon seeing this, yes. Rati Manjari Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, we do see the difference between the two because it might happen that you give up the activities related to the material world, but still you are attached to the fruits of that. Like when we say, okay, I want to realize the Brahman aspect, and then that's why I'm giving up everything. I'm going to the forest and meditating, but there's still some kind of intention attached to it. So I'm waiting for that result to come out of it. But Tyaga is, I feel that is, I may be wrong, but this is just my thought.
No
Tyaga
problem.
Tyaga is more important because there we give up the fruits of any activities that we do. So that is certainly going to take us back to the Godhead, because then we are acting in the true spirit of our constitutional position to Krishna, that I am his servant and I have to just keep on doing what he makes me do. I mean, the good things. I'm not saying that the bad actions, but I'm not desiring of the outcome. My actions are not driven by the desire for the fruits of those actions, because those fruits are supposed to be enjoyed by Krishna, not me. So I think that's my understanding, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your thought on that. That's a nice thought. Okay. So basically, sannyas means to give up the material desire. Yeah. And renounce, to be renounced. Yeah. Especially to the material desire. And tyaga is to giving up the fruit of one's action, meaning depending on Krishna. Yeah. So is there any difference? We will see further. But your thought is very much appreciated, Rati Manjari Mataji. Thank you so much. Yes. It's actually a bit tricky, really. It's a bit tricky between these two statements. Yes. Sometimes we do see some differences, But actually later it will be revealed that actually there is no difference between the two. Because ultimately giving up material desire means to develop spiritual desire. Unless one's develops spiritual desire, then it is not possible to giving up completely material desires. And to giving up the fruits of one's work, meanings completely depending on Krishna. So ultimately, there is no difference between the two. But sometimes, if we're not careful enough to read Srila Prabhupada's purport, to study the commentary of the Acharyas, we may find some differences. But of course, ultimately, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned in his purport, that everything that's favorable for our Krishna consciousness should not be given up. Yes, should not be given up. For example, like obviously we are building huge temple. Yes, like the TOBP in Vrindavan also.
Yes, Prabhu,
Yes.
that's why I said.
Yes. But ultimately that's for Krishna.
Yeah.
Then one will work, right? One will work, and then the Lakshmi is utilized for Krishna. So that is not considered to be giving up the fruits. Yes, rather we are utilizing, yes, the fruit of work for Krishna. And that is a real tyaga. That is a real sannyas. Yeah. Okay. Text 3. Some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up as faulty. Yet other sages maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be abandoned. Yes. So we have discussed about sacrifice, charity, and penance in the 17th chapter, but should never be abandoned. Yeah. As long as it is in connection to Krishna. Yes, because there is sacrifice for fruitive activities, there is charity also for fruitive activities, one desiring fame, name, recognition. Yes. So this is considered to be faulty, but as long as it is for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, then that should never be abandoned. Yeah. There are many activities in the Vedic literature which are subjects of contention. For instance, it is said that an animal can be killed in sacrifice, yet some maintain that animal killing is completely abominable. Although animal killing is a sacrifice, is recommended in the Vedic literature, the animal is not considered to be killed. Text for all best of the Bharatas. Now hear my judgment about renunciation. O tiger among men, renunciation is declared in the scriptures to be of three kinds. Yes. Although there are differences of opinion about renunciation, here the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, gives his judgment, which should be taken as final. After all, the Vedas are different laws given by the Lord. Here, the Lord is personally present and his word should be taken as final. Okay, so here Arjuna is addressed as tiger among men. Yeah, actually, Lord Krishna, he is hinting to how powerful Arjuna is. Yes, but how come now he's so weak? He becomes so weak. He's put into delusion. Yes. So actually Krishna is making fun of Arjuna here. One of the Acharya's commentary saying that Arjuna is mentioning this to Krishna. Sorry, Krishna is mentioning, addressing Arjuna as tiger among men in order to remind him that how actually Arjuna is so powerful Kshatriya. Yes, and he should not act on the mental platform, especially he's a pure devotee of the Lord. Yes, so he's making fun of Arjuna here. So here, text number 5, very important sloka. Yagya dana tapa karma natyajam karyam evata. Krishna mentioned here, natyajam, never give up this yagya, sacrifice, dana, charity, austerity. Yagyo danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even great souls. There are many purificatory processes for advancing a human being to spiritual life. The marriage ceremony, for example, is considered to be one of these sacrifices. It is called Vivaha Yagya. Should a sannyasi who is in the renounced order of life and who has given up family relationship encourage the marriage ceremony, the Lord says here that any sacrifice which is meant for human welfare should never be given up. Vivaha Yagya, the marriage ceremony, is meant to regulate the human mind so that it may become peaceful for spiritual advancement. For most men, these Vivaha Yagyas should be encouraged even by person in the renounced order of life. Sannyasis should never associate with women, but that does not mean that one who is in the lower stages of life, a young man, should not accept wife in the marriage ceremony. Yeah. Interesting. Srila Prabhupada making a comment like this because Srila Prabhupada himself, as we all know that in the beginning of our movement, he was performing Vivaha Yagyas for some of his disciples. Yes. So, of course, sannyasis should actually, it is the rule that the brahmacharis and sannyasis should not attend the Vivaha ceremony. Yes, but sometimes we do find that some of our sannyasis attending this kind of ceremony, this kind of event. Yeah. When I remember when I got married, so I invited one of our ISKCON sannyasis, a very famous one, and he came. Yeah, he came to honor the invitation. I requested him to give a lecture, and after the lecture, he left. So that's the right attitude actually. At the same time, the sannyas should not be present at Vivaha ceremony because that is not the business of the sannyas. But I requested him to enlighten me personally and whoever present in the ceremony. Then he gave a lecture about half an hour and he left. Yes. So in some circumstances, for example, as I mentioned, Srila Prabhupada in the early days of our movement. So rather than these boys and girls, they simply living together without marriage. So Srila Prabhupada has to perform the marriage ceremony. Yeah, he conducted the yagya, performed the ceremony, and give initiation. Yes, because I have heard one of the stories from Srila Prabhupada's disciple. Srila Prabhupada, when he found out that some of his candidate disciples, they're living together without marriage, so Srila Prabhupada would advise them to get married first, then Srila Prabhupada will give initiation. Yes, because living together without marriage is actually, sorry to say, it's animalistic way of living. Yes, animals, they don't do Vivaha Yagya. Yeah, only human. And this samskaras meant to purify one's mind in order to make human life more spiritual. Yes. So the samskara is meant to purify one's mind. So nowadays, of course, people taking the Vivaha Yagya or marriage ceremony to be some kind of fun event. Yeah, just for family gathering to officiate the boy and girl. Okay, now they're married and that's it, having party till late night, so on and so forth. Yes, but actually the main purpose is that to unite the boy and girl in order for them to be advanced in Krishna consciousness. Yes, the samskara is meant to purify one's mind. Therefore, after the marriage ceremony, then it started Garbhadana samskara. And Srila Prabhupada talks a lot about Garbhadana samskaras. Yes, in order to purify one's mind before conception, in order to produce the right progeny. Yes, Garbhadana samskaras. And then Pumsavana and Simantunayanam, Soshyanti, and then Jata Karma, Namakarana. And it continues like this, anaprasna. All these samskaras just meant to purify one's mind. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that sacrifice should never be given up. Even the sacrifice, penance, and charity purify great souls. We see how Nanda Maharaj went to where is that, Kurukshetra, during the solar eclipse. Yeah. And then he donated a lot of cows. He performed yagyas, donated a lot of cows to the brahmanas. So even great personalities would perform yagyas to purify themselves. Like Prithu Maharaj, all these people performing yagyas. Yes, they are all pure devotees. But they set up the example for the common man that actually this kind of rituals, when it is directed toward the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then it's purified, even the great souls. Yes. Similarly, also with the penance and charity. The Grihastha cannot accept charity, but the Grihastha Brahmana, he can accept charity, but he will not. I mean to say, accumulate money by taking charity. Whatever he gets, he must spend them. Dana pratigraha. Pratigraha means accept, but he cannot keep it. He cannot keep in bank a bank balance. He must, whatever extra he has got, he must immediately give in charity. Then he can accept. A Grihastha Brahmana accept charity. Yeah. Therefore, the Grihastha is considered to be the parent for the other three ashrams. Yes, the Brahmachari, the Vanaprastha, and the Sannyas. Yeah, but Srila Prabhupada mentioned here for Grihastha Brahmanas, he can accept charity. As I mentioned earlier in the previous class, that begging is the only business of the Brahmanas, not for the poor people. Poor people should work, not begging. Yes. So only Brahmana can beg. That is his right. Yes. And when a Brahmana begs, it's not simply to accumulate wealth or whatever, to fill up his stomach, but in order to purify the society also. Therefore, the Brahmanas actually in the traditional Vedic practice, Brahmanas should never have any anxieties on how to maintain himself, how to maintain his life, because that is the responsibility of the society to maintain the Brahmanas. But nowadays we are lacking consciousness on this principle. Therefore, even the Brahmanas has to work. Yeah, even the Brahmanas sometimes they have to cheat. Yes, I was recently talking to one devotee from South, so because he knows that I'm doing yagyas, this and that, and then he was asking me, Prabhu, how much you charge for Narasimha Yagya? I said, I never charge to do yagya. Whatever donation that they give, the Brahmana should be satisfied. The moment a Brahmana charged for doing some ceremony, then he lost his adhikar. Yeah. And whatever ceremony he will perform in the future will not have any effect, will not have any result. Yes. And then I was asking him, this devotee, so how much people charging in your place for doing the yagya? Or he said that for Narasimha Yagya, minimum 1 lakh. I said, wow, this Brahman is making good money doing this kind of ceremony. And he said that, yes, Prabhu, sometimes it's even 2-3 lakhs, depending on how rich is the person, and then they will make different arrangement, elaborate arrangement. So I was, and I said, like, why they are charging like this? Yes, Prabhu, because life in the city is so tough. Because ultimately, that's happened actually because they may feel that the society is not maintaining them, because there is some sense of anxieties in their mind. Yeah. But in principle, Brahmana should never, charge any amount that should be this much for doing ceremony. Yeah. Otherwise, he loses his quality of being a Brahmana. Brahmana is depending on Krishna, and he should not keep, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned, should not have bank balance. That's like a really high standard, high Brahmanical standard, yeah. But that's the principles. The moment the Brahmana charged for his service, he lose his adhikar, he lose his qualification to perform the next ceremony. Yeah. So that's the principle. Brahmana, dana, pratigraha. He can accept, and then whatever excess from that charity that he received, he should donate again. Yeah. And then back again in the next day. Yes. Going around to the houses of the society and giving them enlightenment. Yes, that is the business of the Brahmanas. Yeah. Text number 6, all these activities should be performed without attachment or any expectation of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty, O son of Pritha. That is my final opinion. Yes. Although all sacrifices are purifying, one should not expect any result by such performances. In other words, all sacrifices which are meant for material advancement in life should be given up, but sacrifices that purify one's existence and elevate one to the spiritual plane should not be stopped. Everything that leads to Krishna consciousness must be encouraged. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also it is said that any activities which leads to devotional service to the Lord should be accepted. Yeah. So in the next 6 verses, 7 to 12, Krishna will define Tyaga, renunciation, according to the 3 modes of nature. So here's the thing about Karma Mishra Bhakti. Sometimes some devotees very fanatic about Karma Mishra Bhakti, and they are blaming so much about Karma Mishra Bhakti. But we should understand that actually not everybody is on a pure platform at the moment, right? One should be honest with oneself. Yes. Sometimes the devotee is asking me, Prabhu, I have some difficulties. Can I ask Krishna for a solution? I said, yes, of course. Then he asked me again, but Prabhu, many devotees said that we should not disturb Krishna for material things. And I said, well, if you have some problem and you cannot perform your service to Krishna properly, then better ask to Krishna for a solution. Then you can settle in the peaceful state, you can perform devotional service. Yeah. So Karma Mishra Bhakti should not be done actually, but for some cases, we are still allowed to perform Karma Mishra Bhakti, and still that is Bhakti. It is not Karma Kanda. Yeah. Because, however, we are linking ourselves to Krishna. One example is that, for example, like a child. Yeah, a child, if you try to give bitter medicine, he would reject. We as parents, we know that this medicine will cure the disease of the child. Because of the medicine is bitter, then the child would refuse. So what we do as parents, sometimes we mix the medicine with sugar syrup, right? We mix this bitter medicine with the sugar syrup in order to reduce the bitterness. Then the child will take this medicine. Yeah, so it's kind of medicine in disguise. Yes. Will that cure the child? Yes. Will that give the enjoyment to the child? Yes, it is. So Karma Mishra Bhakti is also like that. In one hand, we are praying to Krishna to get relief from our problem. I'm talking about material problem. Yes. And at the same time, we are performing devotional service to Krishna. Yes. So gradually we'll get cured from material disease. And we will realize one day that I should not have asked Krishna for this, because when I fully surrender to him, Krishna will take care of me. But not everybody is ready to fully surrender to Krishna. Then in this case, Karma Mishra Bhakti is okay. Although eventually it should be given up, finally. Yes. For a pure devotee, yes, they have this sentiment that I should not disturb Krishna for anything material. But for beginners, for the neophyte, that is fine. Yeah. Because we are connecting ourselves to Krishna. Akama sarva kamo, that is the principle. Moksha kama udara dihi tibrena bhakti yogena. Yeah. This is not karma kanda. Yeah. This is karma mishra bhakti. And it should be given up finally. Yes. Okay. Text number 7, prescribed duty should never be renounced. If one gives up his prescribed duties because of illusion, such renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance. It is said that a person in the renouncer of life should not cook for himself. Cooking for oneself is prohibited, but cooking for the Supreme Personality, Supreme Lord, is not prohibited. Similarly, a sannyas may perform marriage ceremony to help his disciple in the advancement of Krishna consciousness. If one renounces such activities, should be understood that he is acting in the modes of darkness. Yes. So we should perform our duty, but at the same time, in some extreme situation, sometimes that we do something that we're not supposed to be doing, right? But as long as it is for Krishna, we should take the risk. Yeah, especially being criticized by the society, by others. Yeah, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned, actually sannyas should not cook for themselves. Yeah, but Srila Prabhupada mentioned, well, we don't cook for ourselves. No, we cook for Krishna. Yeah, in the beginning when Srila Prabhupada went to the US, so he lived in the house of Gopal Agarwal. And Srila Prabhupada went there alone, no servant, nothing. So he has to cook for himself. Because this Gopal Agarwal is not at all a vegetarian, not even a vegetarian. Yes, although his name is Gopal. So Prabhupada has to cook for himself. Yes. And then performing marriage ceremony. Of course, sannyas should not perform a marriage ceremony, but in some extreme situation, yes, nobody is there to do it, then you should do it. Yeah. In some cases also, like it is said that before entering the altar, one should be clean, yes, performing achamanya, and then one can enter the deity room. But for example, if in the middle of night, the temple caught on fire, what to do? Should you take bath first, dress up nicely, perform achamana, and then enter the altar room to save the deities? No, you just need to run, enter the altar and save the deities. Yes. So, but this should not be done on the regular day things, It is done only in the extreme situation. Yeah, only in the extreme situation. Not otherwise. Yes. So if one is acting in that way, for example, like, oh, I'm a sannyas. Okay, nobody is doing the marriage, but still I don't want to do it because it is not my duty. I have given up these things. Then it's considered to be that person in the mode of ignorance. Yeah, Krishna mentioned here. Oh, I should dress up clean. And what about the deities? It's burning now, for example. Hopefully it never happened, right? But for example, if it is happening like that, then if you just think that you have to be clean first, then it is in the mode of ignorance, because the deities, Krishna, is actually our priority. Yeah, just jump to the altar, save the deities, that's it. I remember when I was in Cambodia, we have only 2 brahmanas, 2 second initiated devotees. At that time, I was not at all initiated. Yeah. And then at some point, this one Brahmana went to the farm. We have farm. And he stayed there for a few days. And then one Brahmana is sick. Then what should I do? Then I just cook. I enter the altar. I do the offering. I perform the arati. I perform the abhishek. Yeah, without being initiated. Because that is done only in some extreme case. Yeah, I know that I'm not supposed to be doing it because I'm not at all second initiated. Yeah, but the pujari is sick. What to do? Then I have to do it. Yeah. Okay. So that's the proper understanding. Yes. So here is the answer regarding sannyasi, sannyas and tyaga. Are they the same or different? Though something they are different, Krishna's opinion is that the renounced order of life and renunciation of the fruits of work are in fact exactly the same. Indeed, Srila Prabhupada translates both words here as renunciation. Okay? I am not blaming you, Rati Manjari Mataji. That is a normal thought that even in the beginning I was confused about sannyas and tyaga. Yeah, because they look slightly different, but as I mentioned earlier, it's tricky. But ultimately, they are the same. What is the purpose of taking the renounced order of life? In order to advance in Krishna consciousness. What is the purpose of renouncing one's fruits of work? In order to advance in Krishna consciousness. Yes. So giving up the fruit doesn't mean that we don't take salary for our work. Yeah. But utilizing that salary for the pleasure of the Lord. That is the meaning of tyaga. Yeah. Okay. So sannyas and tyaga, they are same. Yeah.
Prabhuji, can I ask a question?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
But then, if someone reaches that stage where we are giving up our fruits of action, then are we considered to be sannyasis then?
Yes. Therefore, in the Vedic time, right, when one reaches 50, so Pancha Udvam Manam Rajat, one is not supposed to be, living in the Grihastha ashram anymore. So one will take vanaprastha, and eventually, if one can take sannyas, he will take sannyas. Yeah. So, of course, I have read a very clear statement from Srila Prabhupada. He mentioned that in our movement, in Krishna consciousness movement, whether one is brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, or sannyas, all these four ashrams should have the mentality of being sannyas. Yes, should have the mentality of being sannyas. What is the mentality of being sannyas? Renouncing everything for the pleasure of the Lord, and especially preach Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So we have seen many devotees in our movement, they are grihasthas, but most of them are great preachers. Yes, even some of them are taking disciples, like becoming grihastha guru. Yes, so doesn't matter whether we are brahmachari, sannyasi, or grihastha, we should have the same mentality as sannyas, because sannyas means a person who is in the renounced order of life just to surrender his life to Krishna. Yeah, so that's the principle. So when someone reaches the stage of the understanding that he should give up his fruit of work, giving up means just to connect everything to Krishna, then his life is as good as sannyasi's life. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just like how Srila Prabhupada many times explained that actually we can create Vaikuntha in the material world. Yes, you have probably heard this many times or read it. That when a Grihastha makes Krishna to be the center of his house, then that house is considered to be Vaikuntha. Yeah, because that's the mood of spiritual world, just to serve Krishna. Yes. So, and we should be clever, using our intelligence. That it doesn't mean that after we study this chapter, immediately you resign from your work. That's not true. That's not correct. That's a wrong understanding. Like
Yes.
how Brahmananda Prabhu, when he just joined the ashram, so he was at that time a teacher in one of the universities in USA, and he told Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, I would like to join the ashram. I would like to resign from my work. And Prabhupada said, no, you don't do that. You keep working. Yes, you keep working because we need money. Yeah, Prabhupada said we need money to push forward this movement. Yeah, but of course, later on, eventually, when many devotees coming up, and he took sannyas and gave up his work. But in the beginning, Srila Prabhupada said, no, you keep working. Yeah, you keep working, and then you give the money to us. Yes. The best example is actually Jayananda Prabhu. Yeah, our Jayananda Prabhu. How his life is so exemplary, being a Grihastha, but all his salary he gave to Srila Prabhupada. So it doesn't mean that Tyagi means, oh, now you understand this, you resign from your work. That is not true. Yeah, you keep working, and the result you must utilize for Krishna's pleasure. Yeah. Nice question, by the way, Mataji. Thank you. Text number 8. Anyone who gives up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort is said to have renounced in the mode of passion. Such action never leads to the elevation of renunciation. Okay. Earlier, we talked about renunciation in the mode of ignorance. Here, renunciation in the mode of passion. Yes, one who is in Krishna consciousness should not give up earning money. Just now we talked about that. And here Srila Prabhupada mentioned, should not give up earning money out of fear that he is performing fruitive activities. If by working one can engage his money in Krishna consciousness, or if by rising early in the morning one can advance in his transcendental Krishna consciousness, one should not desist out of fear or because such activities are considered troublesome. Yes, there is a story. One time in Bhubaneswar, there was a family, so a father having 3 kids. Yes, having 3 kids. And then somehow or other, his wife always fight with him. Yeah. Anyway, fighting in the Grihastha ashram is unavoidable. Therefore, I usually, whenever I'm doing a Vivaha Yagya, I always tell both the boy and girl that you must be ready for fighting, because this is unavoidable battle in Grihastha ashram. Somehow or other, you will fight sooner or later, but you should remain together. So, by the way, now finally this man, being very fed up, being very tired of this fight, then he decided to take sannyas. Took sannyas. He left his family, took sannyas, and then after 4 days, he came back home and apologizing to his wife. Yeah, and then the society noticed that, and finally, what they do? So he has to commit suicide because the wife is still following the sati ritual. Yeah, sati ritual is when a husband died, so the wife also will burn herself. Yeah. So finally, both of them just committed suicide. And then the 3 kids that they had now being neglected. You see? So The point of this story is that one should not give up his prescribed duties thinking that it is troublesome. Yeah. Meaning that if you think that actually this is funny things, I personally experience it. Yeah. When I was staying in Brahmachari ashram, I see some grihastas, they look like, oh, such a nice life. They have the freedom to do some things, some stuff that I as Brahmachari could not get access to it, And then I thought that this Brahmachari ashram is so troublesome, Then finally I got married, and then I realized, oh, Brahmachari ashram is much better. But that's actually a wrong way of thinking, because whether you are Brahmachari, Grihastha, Sannyasi, there will be always some challenges. There will be always some troubles. So unless you are mature enough, then better not to take sannyas. Yeah. Because sannyas's life is very tough. Yeah. Although it looks like you are free to travel here and there. Yeah. But it's a huge responsibility. That's the point here. If you give up your prescribed duties out of fear, out of feeling of being troubled, then it is the renunciation in the mode of passion. Krishna mentioned. Yeah. Rajasi. Text number 9. O Arjuna, when one performs his prescribed duty, only because it should be done, and renounces all material association and all attachment to the fruit, his renunciation is said to be in the mode of goodness. Prescribed duties must be performed with this mentality. One should act without attachment for the result. He should be disassociated from the mode of work. A man working in Krishna consciousness in a factory does not associate himself with the work of the factory, nor with the workers of the factory. He simply works for Krishna. And when he gives up the result for Krishna, he's acting transcendentally. Yeah. So this is the mentality that one should develop. I'm doing this because it is my duty. Because this is my duty. I don't want anything. I'm doing this just because my duty. Just like how a mother loves and care for her child. A mother would never expect anything other than just to see the child grow up and happy, isn't it? Yes. Generally, mother does not expect anything from the child. She's just being happy seeing the child growing up, being healthy and happy. That's it. Yeah. So similarly, while performing our duty, so we just think that, okay, this is my duty. I'm supposed to do this, and that's it. I don't want anything in return. So that is in the mode of goodness. Yeah. But when you do your duty in Krishna consciousness, out of your love for Krishna, that is transcendental. That even higher than the mode of goodness. Yeah. Okay. For example, in one of our communities in Indonesia, so devotees having shift, having schedule of performing the arati and abhiseka, different grihastas, who will cook on certain days. So the day will come mostly, yes, because everybody is busy, right? Although we are in a community, not every day we can come to the temple. That's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact. But when it comes to your schedule, that you are doing the arati today, then these devotees will come. Yeah. So they are actually doing that because we have given them the schedule, and they completely understand that, yes, today is my turn. I have to do this because it's my duty. Yeah, it's my duty. That's in the mode of goodness. But if you are doing it, thinking that, yes, I do this because I love to do this, And I'm very happy to do this. I know that there was one devotee, although he's not scheduled on that day, he would come every single morning to do the Abhishek. Although that is not his schedule at that day, he would come just to assist another Brahmana devotees to perform the Abhishek. And he would do that every single day. Yeah, every single day till he left the body. Yes, so very exemplary. So we see this example, by which we can take some inspiration from the life of other devotees. Yeah. So if you do your duty, thinking that, yes, it is my duty, I must do it. That is the mode of goodness. But if you do your duty in Krishna consciousness because you love to do that. For example, when I was a new bhakta, when I joined the ashram, I got the schedule on a certain days when I have to clean the floor of the temple and clean the dish in the kitchen. Yeah. But sometimes I just love to do it. These two things, cleaning the floor and cleaning the dish in the kitchen. Somehow or other, I got a lot of inspiration and I just love to do it. I just do it almost every single day. Yeah, I'm not self-praise here. I'm just sharing. Yeah. So we find some kind of devotees like that. They just do it out of love. Yeah. So that is the best thing. Yeah. But same thing also like work in the office. You will feel much more better when you do the work that you love. When you love your work, you feel happy. When you think that it is my duty, then I have to do it, then you feel okay. When you think that I have to do it because I have some expectation, that's in the mode of passion. Sometimes your mind will get disturbed. Yeah. So things like this. Okay. So it's on different levels, different consciousness, and different modes of material nature. One can be situated depending on one's attitude. Okay. So now Krishna next describes the symptoms of proper renunciation. Okay, text 10 to 12. The intelligent renouncer situated in the mode of goodness, neither hateful of inauspicious work nor attached to auspicious work, has no doubt about work. Yeah. Person in Krishna consciousness or in the mode of goodness does not hate anyone or anything which troubles his body. He does work in the proper place and at the proper time without fearing the troublesome effect of his duty. Such a person situated in the transcendent should be understood to be most intelligent and beyond all doubts in his activities. It is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities, but he who renounces the fruits of action is called one who has truly renounced. It is said in Bhagavad Gita that one can never give up work at any time. Therefore, he who works for Krishna and does not enjoy the fruitive result, who offers everything to Krishna, is actually a renouncer. There are many members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness who work very hard in their office or in the factory or some other place. And whatever they earn, they give to the society. Such highly elevated souls are actually sannyasis and are situated in the renounced order of life. Okay. This purport, Rati Manjari Mataji, actually answered your questions. Yes, text number 11. You can read it again. Yes, read it carefully. So Prabhupada really mentioned here that actually they are all sannyasis. See? In the beginning also, devotees would sell some paintings. Yes, like, who is that telling? Some devotees selling some painting, and then Vishnujan Maharaj would sell some flute. He would make some flutes from bamboo and then sell it in order to support the temple. Ramesh Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
Coming to the inauspicious work, as like working in a liquor company or a cigarette company, So like these kind of activities also be, how can we see that, Prabhu?
That is not a courage, of course, for devotees. Yes. It's ugra karma. Yeah. Prabhavanti ugra karmanam ksayaya jagato hitaha. Krishna mentioned in chapter 16. Yes, this kind of demoniac nature, yeah, the ugra karma types of work,
One should avoid.
yeah, should avoid, and this ugra karma will destroy the world. Yeah, will destroy the world. Then we as devotees who have higher understanding, then should give up this kind of occupation. You know, it's obvious that actually it's breaking the four regulative principles. Then as devotees, we have this principle that we should accept whatever favorable and we reject the unfavorable thing. Yes. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentioned this. There are 6 symptoms of what is that? 6 symptoms of a person advancing Krishna consciousness. I think something like that. No, 6 symptoms of a person. How to call it in English? I forgot the word. But anyway, the first 2 is that anukulyasa sankalpa, pratikulyasa varjamam. Yes. Or 6 symptoms of fully surrender or saranagati. Yes. So anukulyasa sankalpa, anukul. Anukul means favorable. Yes, should accept whatever favorable for our Krishna consciousness. And pratikul means not favorable, should reject. Anukulyasa sankalpa, pratikulyasa varjamam. So working in the liquor place, of course, not at all favorable, and you still can find a better job than that. Believe me, Krishna will arrange you a better job, especially when it is obvious it's breaking the four regulative principles. Then we as devotees should not take it as a granted that Krishna mentioned that, oh, you can keep doing your work and give up the result for Krishna, give the result to Krishna. That is also not a proper understanding, because at one point we are supporting people to break the rules and regulation.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Then it is, yeah. Anyway, devotees means daksha. Daksha means expert. Yeah. So he will know what is to be done, what not to be done. And Krishna will provide a better type of occupation. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Text 12. For one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renouncer of life have no such result to suffer or enjoy. Okay, a person in Krishna consciousness, acting in knowledge of his relationship with Krishna, is always liberating. Therefore, he does not have to enjoy or suffer the result of his acts after death. Here Prabhupada mentions, so unless you, from the very beginning, you practice yajna, or if you are grihastha, giving charity, and when you take sannyas, you undergo tapasya, how you will understand this philosophy? It is not possible in the Kali Yuga. However, recommended in the Vedas, that is not possible. It is very expensive. You have to acquire so much ghee and grains and so many other things, feed so many daily people. It is very difficult task to perform the ritualistic yajna. Therefore, Krishna has made easy what is that? Yajna sankirtana prayaryajanti sumedasaha. Okay. So that is the main yajna in Kali Yuga. Yeah. Sankirtan yajna. But of course, we still find in our society that devotees performing Agnihotra, yeah, the fire sacrifice. And ultimately, that is only and solely for the pleasure of the Lord. Yes. So that's the proper mood of renunciation, penance, and austerities explained by the Lord here. And we as devotees, I mean, like we as devotees, we know this principle, and we have discussed this in the first 6 chapters, especially in chapter 3, chapter 5, and chapter 6. Yes, how Krishna explained the karma yoga. Yeah, karma yoga means one is working at the same time. He's not giving up his work, but he give up the result, meaning he utilize the result of his work for the pleasure of the Lord. Yes, Bhupalaka Govinda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Any
Prabhuji.
comments? Yes, Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
regarding the previous discussion, the question discussion about the Ugra Karma effects like that, I have a doubt, Prabhuji.
Please.
Suppose one person has a house which is he's giving on rent. So of course he's devotee and he tries to give to one of the devotees, but the case where no one comes, no devotee comes forward to take the house for on rent, and he happens to give the house to a karmi person. Of course, all karmis are not vegetarians; they are non-vegetarians.
Yes.
So he happens to find that giving to a non-vegetarian, he falls in the category of ugra karma. That is the category of helping. So
Yes.
how actually we can understand this problem, Prabhuji? So is that any way that whatever remuneration he gets from the house as rent, he can partly devote it to the lordships, or he should not at all take such a person, give such persons for rent. So this kind of things, how to handle correctly, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Yes, it's kind of tricky situation. Yes, very nice question, because it's practical aspect of our study, that not we just study the Sastra, but we analyze what is going on around us through the eyes of Sastra. Yes, so the best thing is to give devotees, first of all, as a tenant. Yeah, we call it tenant. Yeah, to rent your flat, your apartment. Then if there is no devotee, then what to do? Because at the same time, we have to be practical. Yeah, you need some Lakshmi, right? To maintain yourself, to maintain your family. Then non-devotees come and they will cook meat there, for example. Yes. And what will happen to you? Then, of course, like Srila Prabhupada explained in the matter of committing sins, so whoever involved, they will get share of the reaction. Yeah, let's take example of meat. Yeah, so not only the person who killed the animals, but also who, first of all, who kills the animals, who sell the meat, who cook the meat, who serve the meat, who eat the meat. Yeah, these type of people, they will get some share of the karmic reaction. So in that case, in this apartment things case, then some portion of the money that you get from the rent should be dedicated for Krishna consciousness activities. Yeah, for the temple, or especially for the preaching work. Yeah, you can sponsor tickets for devotees for going out for preaching, for example. You can sponsor prasadam. Yeah, because there are some, of course, there are some principles that we have to understand, that how to purify our mind is by meditation, how to purify our word by truthfulness, how to purify our body by taking bath, and how to purify the wealth by dana or charity. And that charity that we have discussed in chapter 17 should be given in the right place to the worthy person. Yeah. So, of course, the best thing you give to the devotees to rent it, but otherwise, you should be practical at the same time. Yes, you should be honest that you may get some karmic reaction from that, because these people cooking something there which is undesirable for us, maybe they will have some party and drink some alcohol. That's happened, right? Then whatever money you get, then the best thing is that direct it to the Om Tat Sat, give it to Krishna, then everything will be purified. Yeah.
Hare
That's
Krishna. Prabhuji.
my
Thank you.
comment.
Prabhuji.
Yes.
Apart from this, though we purify the money, but our consciousness is still contaminated. That we are
Yes.
committing this kind of activity. We are not able to give it to our devotees, or we are not able to do these things. So we have got caught. We have got entangled in this situation. We are not able to send that person out, nor we are able to find somebody for the house. So in that case, by sadhana or thing, is there any means that we can control our emotions and things like that, Roji? What type of sadhana, what things we can do to just to keep our faith and bhakti going nicely, Roji?
Yes, I mean, unless one is completely renounced, then he will not have any anxiety of, oh, whether should I give rent to this non-devotee or not. Yeah. But responding to your question regarding one's own mind, one's own anxiety, then will sadhana will help? Well, definitely yes. Will chanting will help? Yes, definitely yes. That will purify one's mind, one's consciousness. And then actually, one will realize actually, believe me, one will realize that if no one is renting this apartment for 1 year, you will still survive. Yeah. So we are in the, I'm not saying whoever here, but this is the common thing that we are always in the anxiety that sometimes we find both husband and wife working, right? But actually a wife should not go out for work. Sorry to say, but that's the Vedic culture. Yes. Why husband and wife, both of them are working? We find it like that because there are a lot of anxieties that, oh, if both of us not working, then how we will maintain the family. Yeah. But actually a husband himself is enough to work and earn. And when we simplify the way of our living, we will not spend so much. Why people spend so much money? Because they earn so much money. Yes, because they earn so much money. Then they must spend a lot of money. You know, when I just got married, let's say, I'm just sharing my own experience. When I just got married, so I earn in a month only 7,000 rupees. Yes. And for me, that was enough. You know, I pay rent 3,000 rupees. The rest 4,000 is for prasada. Somehow or other, I was survive. And then some other grihastas asking me, so how much you earn in a month? I said 7,000 rupees. And they were shocked. How could you live with 7,000 rupees per month? And I asked him, how much money you live in a month? Oh, I need at least 30,000. I said, you crazy? So this is the principle. When people earning a lot, they will naturally spend a lot. Yes. But for, you know, that time for me, 7,000 was enough in a month. Of course, now I have 2 kids and my son going to school, then I have to earn more, right? But that is the principle that we think that, oh, if I don't earn that much, then I will not survive. So in the case of that apartment, oh, if no devotee is coming, then this flat will be empty and then no income coming. But believe me, Krishna will find a way how to maintain you and your family. And if you worry so much about the karma, then better don't do it. Don't give to the non-devotees. Yeah. But if you don't worry about karma, if you can utilize the money properly, then of course, the best thing, as I mentioned, give rent to the devotees. But if you don't have any other alternative, then just give. Yeah, because don't be too much sentimental. At the same time, you must be very practical. in your life. You must be very practical in your life. Otherwise, you might be ending up in some very critical and difficult situation, and eventually you are ending up by having faithlessness to Krishna. Yeah, but of course, your chanting, your sadhana, that will help you to pacify your mind, to strengthen your faith to Krishna. Yeah. Otherwise, if you have doubt, then do it without. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All right. I think I will end the class here for today. So we'll meet again on Tuesday evening. Please read the rest of the chapter. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.